Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
You're listening to Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Just pulling up on my Bloomberg, taking a look at shares of Hilton worldwide. Stock's been up as much as 5% today, right now with a gain of 3.5%. It is among the top gainers in the S&P 500. The stock rallying after the company boosted the lower end of its full-year outlook for expanding its hotel network. Our next guest, Tim, also a big operator in the hospitality space.
We've got back with us Alan Fuerstman, founder, chairman, and CEO of Montage International. It's home to 15 luxury hotels and resorts. It also spans residences, golf courses, and clubs, all under the Montage and Pendry names. Based in Laguna Beach, Alan joins us here in the studio. Welcome. How are you?
I'm terrific. It's great to be here. Thank you.
How is business? We've been spending a lot of time on the road. Mm-hmm. Things are packed. Things are crowded. It seems like the high end is doing very, very well.
It has. The luxury segment in general has, we read it's up 3-4% over last year. We're actually up double that, about 8% over previous year, and tremendous interest in luxury product, especially ours.
Who's your customer?
It varies from property to property. At the resorts, it's people coming for leisure. We do high-end meetings as well.
Global customers?
Globally, yeah. More North America based, but we a fair amount of international travel as well.
How much is business versus fun? Not that business isn't fun.
It varies by season and time of year. So in some of the properties, Hawaii, for example, it's almost all leisure. Other properties, we do much more on the meeting side of it. So it can vary. It could be as much as 50% each. And in other properties, it skews more on the individual traveler.
Have you seen the demographic shift since over the last year, basically, since President Trump took office for the second term? Somewhat of a crackdown on immigration, but we've seen, to a certain extent, international travel from Canada fall a little bit. Got some numbers here in New York, too. Is that affecting you at all?
Not really. We've heard some anecdotal stories here and there. A group may have been planning on coming, but no, we really have not felt that. And when we look at it quantitatively, we're actually up. And we look at our group booking pace, which is the best leading indicator for the future. We look into next year right now, and we're ahead of previous years. So all good indications, but we rely less on international travel than some of the other brands based on where our hotels are located.
What about demographics in terms of age of the people who are coming to the resorts? Is it full of people in their 40s and 50s now?
Yeah, we've always had an active clientele, and there's a youthfulness to that. But we also see a lot of multi-generational travel, the tradition. So
grandparents bringing everybody.
Grandparents bring three generations.
Okay,
so it's really great to see.
I am curious, too, about just the administration, some of the policies, how it's maybe impacted labor costs, food costs, building costs, because these are things certainly that we talk about a lot when we look at some of the inflationary pressures that we've seen in our economy.
Yeah, we read about it, haven't really had the impact today in the operating costs yet.
Even labor costs? And you're finding all the workers you want?
Well, labor costs have gone up. That's been a challenge, market to market.
Yeah.
But that's been happening for the last few years.
Right. So it continues. It hasn't gone away.
It continues. It has not stopped.
Does the pushback on immigration make it even more tricky?
No. Fortunately, we've been able to attract the cream of the crop, it seems to be. Okay. But we keep an eye towards the challenge of finding great associates. I mean, it's the essence of who we are as a company.
But in all parts of the resorts, I'm talking kitchen, housekeeping, still no issue with talent and labor there?
It's market to market. Some markets, there's a real scarcity. And
where is that scarce?
Some of the seasonal resorts. So we rely on H-2B visas, J-1s to support, to bring in where we have to fill gaps. Seasonality is the biggest challenge.
Will you still rely on those visas with the new restrictions coming into play?
The restrictions that have been talked of late have been the H-1Bs. And we rely on H-2B. So I think we've been...
So you'll be okay?
It appears that way, and as we're gearing up for ski seasons, we have three great ski resorts. We got Montage Deer Valley, the Pendry in Park City, and then Montage Big Sky, and we've been filling out our roster there beautifully.
Well, it's interesting too because I feel like when there's a pushback by the administration gets an immigration, and then some of the construction and hospitality industries did reach out to the administration. So has it, do you feel like you're being heard, or go ahead?
Well, there's a concern, obviously, as new development and what the cost will be associated with building the hotels. And we have 15 hotels today, but we have another 15 that are in various stages of development. So, and some of those costs haven't been, are still being put together. So there's an eye toward that, but it's unpredictable, I think, is the biggest challenge right now. We don't know exactly where it's heading.
We're talking with Alan Fuerstman. He's founder, chairman, and CEO of Montage International, luxury hotels and resorts. What are you guys building? Because you do hotels, you do resorts, you do residences, you've got golf courses, you've got clubs. Like, where's the growth for you guys?
Well, we're seeing a lot of international growth. And so, for example, in Mexico, we've got 4 new projects in development. We're opening in Mexico City, a Pendry, next year. And then the year after, we've got both a Montage and a Pendry opening in Punta Mita.
What would you say to people about, because Mexico City, as you know, can often be a target for concerns about safety. But what would you say, your experience?
My experience has been terrific. We're developing in an area of town called Roma, which is a beautiful location, very European in feel, and a market that's been underserved in luxury hotels, and I think we'll do well. Great dining scene. It's going to be a great addition and an entry for us to further into Latin America.
Tell us about a place that you've considered developing and you chose not to, and why.
Well, the opposite.
Why did you pass on it?
We pass on developing in markets where we don't think we can get the rate to support the levels of services we need to provide. And one of the biggest disconnects luxury hotel brands have, or if they put a hotel in a market that has a rate ceiling and no matter what they do, they can't get the rate, you have an inherent disconnect where either you're going to have an unhappy owner of the asset because you're not being able to get the returns you want, or you'll find those companies will reduce services commensurate with the rate they can charge. So I want to stay true to markets where I believe a luxury traveler will go.
Is there a base rate in US dollars that you have to have for a per night rate? I mean, I know it depends on where we are. It absolutely depends on where you are in the world, where you are in the country.
I mean, broadly speaking, Montage
to make it work.
Broadly speaking, Montage runs an average rate north of $1,200, $1,300 a night. So we should be able to get $1,000 plus rate for a Montage. A little less on the Pendry, but we look at those, and then there's a factor based on the labor costs and others in a particular destination or market. But we factor that into where we think the hotel is today and where we think the market will be heading.
What do you think if somebody, it's interesting, the luxury space, I was looking at some of just the stories, because there's been some concerns, certainly for some of the luxury retail space. They've been under some pressure. The Chinese consumer holding back. But it was interesting. I think it was Hermes reported this week, and I was looking at our BI team who did some analysis, and what they saw was certainly signs for an improved second half. They saw 2025 earnings per share jumping. So when you think about the luxury space, healthy, you haven't seen any signs of weakness.
We see it healthy. We look at obviously the room rate is an indicator, but also the spend on the property. How our guests are consuming our spas and how they're consuming the food and beverage in our restaurants. And we have a customer, an affluent guest that is looking for value, looking for great services, great product offering, and they'll pay for it.
What does value mean for a luxury customer?
For $1,300 a night, what does value mean?
It means we'll exceed your expectations. You're going to come there, you'll be in an environment where you say, I'm made to feel special. The amount of people I've interacted with, their focus on my likes and dislikes, their the personal attention, the lack of the human touch is a big part of what we're offering, and that relationships that we strive to develop with our guests.
Are you talking at all or developing at all? This is going to sound weird, but developing at all for Instagram, for social media? Sure. I was just at a resort. It underwent a $30 million renovation. This part of the resort looks different than the other part of the resort. And I went to it. It's the pool. It overlooks the cliffs. I was like, this thing is made for social media. Like, they want people here taking pictures and sharing this on social media.
Yeah, as we design hotels, we look at, it does cross our mind, what a great Instagrammable spot. It used to be, where's a great photo shot? We look at that. We see how much energy it creates and its excitement. And that's very much a real thing. But the ability to see, one of the things that made launching a hotel company for us in this age, what helped level the playing field was the transparency that the consumer today has. They can go online and see the hotels. So a big, large conglomerate, large company can spend a lot more than we can, but we get the unfiltered, unbridled responses of real people, and that helps us.
Holiday bookings, you talked about bookings. Can you give us just a little bit more color on holiday bookings?
Very strong. The festive this year, I was talking to our general manager from Cabo. We have a record year coming up over festive down in Montage Los Cabos. So again, something we're excited about. The ski destinations look real strong heading into the pre-booking period, the booking period now. So we're optimistic. Are
people booking typically giving the same amount of lead time when they book for a holiday? Are they booking later?
Well, for the holidays, they actually book earlier because we fill up. And we're actually trying to get you to rebook before you leave because the availability, it's that special. And holidays are the best for family traditions. And great resorts are the embodiment of family time over holidays. And so we target that very, very much.
Safe to say, no, you don't see any signs of a recession or a slowdown in your space. Or
we're always I'm always worried. It's fine. I wake up every day. Is there something in the world that's going to put us on tilt? But no, and I remain optimistic. I look at the signs of the performance of our hotels, and I'm optimistic.
So things like the rate environment or anything in terms of the build out, you're okay with it?
I don't have a choice. I mean, so we focus on delivering extraordinary service and being a differentiated product. Luxury is not a commodity, and if we can continue to perform at levels that are extraordinarily high, I think we'll be able to continue to weather economic challenges.
You told us, I don't want to blow up your spot, but you told us you actually spend a lot of time at one of the resorts. You live at one of the resorts, so you get...
I do. I live at Montage Laguna Beach, which was the first Montage we did, and I spend time virtually at all of our hotels throughout the year.
Excluding that one, which is your favorite?
It's like asking which is your favorite kid, and of course then they say, okay, which one? But no, the thing about Montage is the consistency of our product. So we have 7 Montage hotels. All 7 are 5-star hotels, and Forbes, who gives out the 5 stars, called me 2 years ago and said, "Alan, congratulations! You're the only hotel company in the world where every hotel brand, every hotel is 5 stars." And that speaks to why I can't pick a favorite, because they're amazing, and it's across the portfolio.
All right. Well, so great to get some time with you. I know it's been a couple years, so good to check in with you. Alan Fuerstman, founder, chairman, and CEO of Montage International, joining us right here in our New York studio.